what is your favorite kaiju outside of Godzilla? It doesn't have to be from this movie. I mean, like in general, kaiju or kaiju adjacent character. What is your favorite one outside of Godzilla?
It doesn't have to be related to the Godzilla or Monsterverse.
No.
Does Kaiju number 8 count?
Yes, I guess.
Oh.
Well, actually not. If I think about it, the terms of it, right? It would probably be the Nine Tails from Naruto, Kurama.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I can call Nine Tails a kaiju. He does kaiju stuff to destroy cities. All right.
Big monster. Oh, dang. I don't really. I'll go with my boy, Cloverfield.
Oh, Mr. Cloverfield, Mr. Clover.
Yes, Mr. Clover.
Okay.
He's sitting right next to me right now.
He's cool, but he doesn't do anything. Like he just,
Well, it's a baby, so
he's
but what I'm saying, he doesn't have any special abilities.
But no, he has an ability where he can like make smaller creatures, spiders, and then have those spiders infect other people, and then those people like die within like a couple of seconds or something.
I guess, but it does not touch, my goat, my glorious king, Ghidorah. We love Ghidorah, folks. Ghidorah's great.
No, it's cool. It's a cool movie.
I not just the movie. Okay, I like Ghidorah in general. I like Ghidorah in his different adaptations, both in the original like Toho movies to this. He's a really great appearance in Godzilla Final Wars as a Monster X. When it's revealed Monster X's final transformation is like a Super Ghidorah. I think that's like a fitting, finale for the end of like Toho Godzilla, basically, the end game for Toho. And I like my big dumb 3-headed dragon monster that does not have hands, does not have it has feet. It's more of like a wyvern, but it uses its heads as hands and as appendages. And I like its dumb lore. I like the fact that it's an alien, inexplicably. It doesn't need to be an alien, but it is. It's not from here. I like that it shoots lightning. Okay, and I like that it's the eternal, thing for Godzilla. He has impressive aura. He's such I would say Ghidorah by far is just like an amazing kaiju. Great design. It's been carried through. There's a reason Ghidorah is just simply like the goat. IMO. But that's just my opinion.
Rival to the Godzilla. No, I mean Ghidorah is solid.
And let's face it, Ghidorah was beating the brakes off of Godzilla the entire movie. Okay.
Oh yeah,
he was beating the brakes off of Godzilla. But Godzilla fans don't want to have that conversation. And on this podcast, we're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations. Speaking of that, welcome to the Peak of Fiction podcast, the podcast where we analyze different forms of media, TV shows, movies, games, more, to find the very peak of fiction. And the hosts doing today are head monarch scientist Beto.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Background military character Supa O.
Yo, what's good, everyone? What's good? Out here catching kaijus and paying Thai. I don't know.
Great contribution. And head chief kaiju glazer, BaitZaDust, myself. So today we are talking about the one, the only 2019 movie, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Our very first episode of this podcast, the very first episode we released of this podcast was Godzilla Minus One. So we're swinging back for more kaiju discussion and talking about the Monsterverse, Legendary's Monsterverse, which of course has Godzilla 2014, King of the Monsters, the Kong movies, and I guess we're expecting another Godzilla Cross Kong movie in like a year or so. It has its ups and it has its downs. And I would say Godzilla King of the Monsters is a movie that is adored heavily by Godzilla fans, but also has like not the greatest reviews. So we're gonna give our opinions and see. Okay, is it peak or not peak? What's going on here? So to start the discussion, we will do our initial, relatively spoiler-free impressions of Godzilla King of the Monsters. Just doing what we think. And Beto, it's probably very fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
What is your initial take on Godzilla King of the Monsters?
Godzilla King of the Monsters is one of the most abysmal films I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not kidding. Whatever. It's an okay movie.
One of these days, you're going to commit to that. You're going to say that, but you're going to mean it in your heart. Right? I am excited for that day to come.
There will be a movie or a book or whatever we're going to see, and I'm just going to straight up be a hater. It's an okay Godzilla movie. It has amazing actions. I'm keen to Godzilla a little bit, but for this movie, it's one of those. Has actions, has cool CGI, and it ends in Boston. So go Red Sox, but not right now. Go Red Sox right now.
Well, thankfully, you don't have to worry about the Red Sox ever going again.
Yeah. If I was living in that universe, I'd be like, we're fine. No upsets ever.
But overall, you'd say you're like ambivalent on Godzilla King of the Monsters?
I am very on one side good, one side bad, but I very lean to the bad side.
Okay. All right. Supa O.
So Godzilla, the King of the Monsters. This is my third time watching this film. I watched it when it first dropped, and then I think we watched it again like a couple of years later, and I watched it again, for this review right now. And after my third review, I gotta say, 3 times is a bit too many.
3 times?
Yeah. I think here's the thing, right? I like the monster stuff. If I want to get more into it, my base thing is I like the monster stuff, but the human stuff, the plot, it just takes away from it. And it's like usually the human stuff for these kind of movies are dumb, and you're supposed to wave it away and whatnot. But like, if I'm watching a movie and I'm judging a movie, I like to judge everything about the movie. And if there's an aspect of that movie that just isn't hitting or isn't good or takes away, I gotta give some. It's gonna I'm not say ruin my experience, but it's gonna like put a damper on that a bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even though I have some gripes with this movie, I do like the monsters. And I like the way that they battle, especially between Godzilla and Ghidorah. There's a lot of cool shots. We'll get into visuals. I'll talk about the shot I really like in the Antarctica. Overall, yeah, I do think this movie gets dragged by the human subplot. Even when I'll say this, I think I'm more favorable about the Monsterverse now than I was when I originally watched the film. Because when I watched it, like I knew Godzilla, like everyone knows Godzilla, but like Godzilla's like the only like monster like I would know. You know what I mean? Like gun to my head, couldn't name 3 other monsters outside of him. And even then, like if I didn't see if I saw a giant monster,
you don't know about. You say, whoa.
I probably.
You're telling me you don't know about King Caesar? You don't know about Anglerus? You're okay. Whoa. Okay, you're telling me you're not like a major fan of Gigan? No.
I can't say I'm a big Gigan head. Nah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry for all 3 of you Gigan fans out there. But yeah, nah. Like I wasn't like all I knew was Godzilla, and it pretty much like Godzilla fights other monsters or destroys the city. That was kind of all my Godzilla lore. But over time, I have come to enjoy, especially like the Monsterverse stuff from Warner Bros. I have really come to enjoy like a lot of the Kaiju stuff, whether it has Godzilla or not. I like Godzilla vs King Kong. I like Skull Island. I like what's the newest one? New Empire. Even going outside the Monsterverse, I like Shin Gods. Or at least I remember thinking Shin Godzilla was all right. I like Minus. I like maybe like one other Godzilla film. I think it was like an animated film.
Mhm.
But like watching this back, even after all of that, it's still like, wow, this is still pretty butt. I ain't gonna lie. Outside of
Okay.
the points. But yeah, that's just my thing. I'll get more into it later, but yeah, it's a very film for me.
So 1 week ago, when I said we were going to do Godzilla, King of the Monsters, right? I already had my entire argument like laid out. Okay, I already knew what I was going to say. Right, I was like, "Yep, all right, this film is." I was going to say, "Yep, it's has really great monster stuff, bad human stuff. Oh my word, the plot's so stupid." Blah, 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 blah. I was very because I guess oh, I've seen this movie a few times before, and I was ready to come in, fast and furious. Um, I had the thumbnail ready. Everything was lined up. But something happened on this rewatch, and I feel like the movie clicked for me in a way that did not click for me before. And my eyes were opened, and I became a believer. And I had to say, the film's pretty good. The film's pretty good. But I will say, you have to have the right framework to see the movie through to properly enjoy it.
You're gonna use you have to have a certain IQ to understand
No,
this
no, no, no,
product.
no, no. I'm not even going to say it's a turn your brain off movie. I'm not going to say it's a turn your brain off movie. It's because I would say its biggest thing is it's coming off of Godzilla 2014, and Godzilla 2014 is a deadly, for the most part, like serious movie about natural disasters and government cover-ups. Right? You got Bryan Cranston in there for a bit, and it's a very like, and Godzilla's in a little bit. He fights the Mutos, but it's still very very serious, right? But King of the Monsters is also serious, but of course there's a lot more kaiju. There's a lot more goofiness just inherently happening, right? Because it's all about big monster fights. But it treats it with this serious reverence, right? All the characters are like, "Oh my word, this is like the battle of the Titans," right? Like they've come back to rule the Earth again, right?
Yeah.
And every professional scientist is not acting like a professional scientist, right? Everyone is like on the Godzilla Glaze squad, but if you don't look at it as a continuation for 2014 Godzilla, and you adopt a different framework, right? This is my argument. Is actually Godzilla King of the Monsters is actually a shonen anime, and if you look at it like a shonen anime, everything kind of clicks, right? All of the scientists who no. Hear me out. Here's my argument. Hear me out. All the scientists doing commentary, right? You can think of them like like side characters in an anime talking about like legends, like fighting, right? All of the hype and all the stuff is kind of to build this up, and that's why I think I would say if it were looking from like a shonen anime analysis, right? Godzilla is not like a underdog main character. He isn't, right? He's very much an already established figure that everyone has reverence for. I'd say Godzilla King of the Monsters is watching a shonen anime that's several seasons in, and you're not watching the main character fight. You're watching the legendary characters that have only been described, right, as the show goes on, actually going at it. And everyone around him is like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest fight of all time." And if you squint your eyes, right? If you squint your eyes, you can say, "Wait a second, this isn't Godzilla versus Ghidorah. This is Gojo versus Sukuna. This is Yawa versus Yamamoto. This is Whitebeard versus Roger." Okay, that's what it really is. That's actually what Godzilla King of the Monsters is. Is you're watching the two legends, right, from history go at it, and that's why everyone's talking about them so weird, and everyone and it feels like the entire plot is kind of like circling around them like in this kind of way. Um is, I think it has the reverence of like a shonen anime. And if this was like a shonen, everyone would be like, wow, so hype, so peak, right? But as a movie, it has a couple of problems, I'll admit. But for me, when I looked at it like that, I was able to be taken in by the astonishment, and I was able to kind of like let go of my preconceptions and just like enjoy it. And I think when you meet the movie on its own terms, it's a very enjoyable thing. And I found the human stuff really wasn't as bad as I remember it being, right? Or I would say it's very isolated. It goes from like me not liking any of the human characters to really just not liking the doctor, the mother doctor character mostly. But even then, like I think it works. I think what you're seeing here actually really works, and of course, it's visually amazing. It is, in terms of like style and flair, it clears the other Monsterverse movies, even the new ones, right? I love New Empire, but New Empire does not scratch the hype and the cinematography and the way everything is composed in this movie. None of the other Monsterverse movies has a soundtrack as good as this movie, right? I think who was on the Bear McCreary. Yeah, I have. I listen to their Godzilla soundtracks, and they're like Junkie XL, bro. Bear McCreary of God of War fame is like going so ham on this soundtrack. Okay, we're getting like some of the best renditions of classic like Toho themes throughout. You're getting like Ghidorah's theme. You're getting the Godzilla Burning March. It sounds amazing. They have a new rendition of Mothra's theme that plays whenever she does something. Okay, I think there's a lot of like cool touches, and this movie really cares about Godzilla. And I see it now. Okay, I was not a believer, but now I'm a new convert. I wish the Monsterverse movies went in this direction instead of the direction they chose. I wish that when we got Kong, Godzilla versus Kong, it was done with the same like hype and reverence as this movie. Okay, I wish Kong had cinematography and shots like he does in this movie, instead of going the more goofy approach.
Did he not?
But this is my opinion. This is my opinion. This is my take.
I feel like you just haven't seen the other movies in a minute. You haven't seen a Godzilla film in a minute.
We all saw the movies one more time.
Hey,
bro, I've seen 3 to 4 Godzilla movies this year, man.
Honestly, yeah. I with just watching again, I kind of see things in a new perspective, but in a positive perspective, I don't see it. I'm not there yet.
All right, okay, all right.
Yeah,
maybe by the end of the pod, I will have converted.
That stuff you say like applies to, for me, that stuff only really applies when the monsters are actually like interact. Like I get what you're talking about with like the side characters being like, oh, I can't believe it's Godzilla and Ghidorah and they're both doing their super special moves against each other, and but Godzilla has powered up, but Ghidorah is still like I get all of that, right? But when we cut that out and we don't focus on that, the movie's so dull. The movie is so dull to me, man. Even like, but anyway, we'll get more into it.
I was entranced.
It's interesting that you have that.
So as we hey man, people can change, okay? Because that's Steven Universe,
Does this have anything to do with the fact that Godzilla
can make it right?
Godzilla fans are demographic?
Sorry, Steven, we gotta kill him.
No, I was not bullied. I was prepared. I was prepared to martyr myself. Okay, I was prepared to be a contrarian, but I've seen the light, and it's beautiful. It's blue. It's blue.
It's not pink.
Not pink. Not yet. Not yet. All right, so we'll do a brief rundown, a little swift summary on the Godzilla King of the Monsters plot, so we can go a little bit more in depth
Mhm.
into it as a broader framework for the review. So, Godzilla King of the Monsters starts, of course, directed by Michael Dougherty. Starts with the Battle of San Francisco from the Godzilla 2014. And we can see Godzilla after he defeated the Mutos, or in the process of defeating the Mutos, going ham and just destroying everything, as you know he does. And well, when we saw it in the first one, he was a pure hero. This time, we can see the results of a family that is not a big fan of the Rampage because their son dies. This leads to different trouble down the road, and as it turns out, both these family people are played by Kyle Chandler and Vera Farmiga, are both scientists, studying animals, and they take very different career paths when their son dies. We'll say that. Um, and they both had like some sort of contact with Monarch, which is like the not so secret science operation that monitors the monsters and the different kaiju. It's called Titans in this. So we cut forward and we can see that they are divorced now, and the mom has the kid played by Millie Bobby Brown, and they work at the Monarch facility taking care of Mothra, while the dad is trying to reach out and is like, please, I want to see my daughter. It does not appear that he gets weekends or other visitation. And Millie Bobby Brown's like, yeah, mom is acting kind of weird. Mom keeps citing some weird racial statistics to me, and it's making me uncomfortable. She keeps saying things like humanity was a mistake, and it's really weirding me out.
She keeps saying human beings are disease. I don't know why.
Yeah, this world
Meanwhile,
is perfect.
yes, this wasn't perfect. It needs to be fixed. Meanwhile, Monarch is on what do you call that? Deposition of Congress, I think. Yeah, they're in like an official deposition, and as they try to explain, um, hey, you had an entire secret network of people that knew about the giant monsters the entire time, and you didn't say anything. What's up with that? Also, we should should be run by the military, and maybe we should start killing these titans, as they could at any time kill us. And unfortunately, Monarch is run by the Godzilla Glaze Squad, um, headed up by Sarazawa. That's like, no, you don't understand. Godzilla is the greatest and the coolest and the strongest. He's glazing him like characters glaze Gojo and Jujutsu Kaisen, more or less.
Godzilla treats me nice.
And there's a really great line where they're like, what would Godzilla be our, when you talk about coexisting with Titans, like, would Godzilla be our pet? And he, in a congressional deposition, says, no, we would be his. So these people have lost the plot. They have lost the plot as an organization, but that's okay. They all get to leave because the Monarch facility is being attacked by eco terrorists.
Yes,
Yeah. Played by the head of it is played delightfully by Charles Dance. I really like him in this movie. He has a really great, carries himself very well. He is supposedly the same character from Kong Skull Island, played by Tom Hiddleston. Supposedly. Um,
I didn't even notice that.
those are supposed to be the same guys.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And he wants control of the Orca device, which is a device that can um activate, wake up, and like summon the different titans and monsters. So he kills the entire Monarch squad, kidnaps the Doctor and Madison, and they are whisked away to their evil plan. Meanwhile, I think Mothra has awakened from an egg stage to a larva stage, and is a big, hungry caterpillar, uh, getting ready to cocoon and move to their next stage. Uh, in order to track down Orca and track down the Doctor, they bring Mark Russell, played by Kyle Chandler, out of retirement. He's not retired, but they bring him out because he's like an animal. He's not an animal scientist. He's an animal. He's more than that.
Photographer?
No, he's not a photographer. He's like a animal
He's a vet.
behavioral
Yeah.
scientist. He's
Yeah,
not a
that's-
vet.
No.
Okay,
Not a vet.
he's not a vet.
He records the sounds of wolves in the.
He understands animal psychology and works with like sociology, works with animals.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we need you to help track down Titans. And Kyle Chandler, Mark Russell, is like, you gotta kill all of these Titans. I hate them. The only good Titan's a dead Titan, in my opinion. Godzilla, we could never work together. I could never imagine that. So they're tracking it, and they find out that there's 17 Monarch facilities across the globe, all with Titans, which is crazy. Also, the real crazy part about the whole Monarch Titan thing is there's no plan in place to contain these at all.
Yeah.
They just have the facilities to like monitor them. There's no second step.
The moment something goes awry,
Yeah, I don't know what
if they
their
break out,
goal-
you're just cooked, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
A very
Like at any
poorly
time,
run operation.
truly at any time.
Yeah, they don't have
these fucking
Pokeballs to capture them. So
right. They should have some massive balls on standby.
So
right.
so they're tracking them, and then of course Serizawa is like, don't worry, Godzilla has our back always. And he's like, yeah, well, Godzilla killed my son. How do you think about that? So they have a little back and forth, and they figure out, wait a second, the next place they're gonna hit is probably Antarctica. So the first one on track Godzilla and track to Antarctica, and they're going to Antarctica because that is where Monster Zero is, or King Ghidorah. And Monster Zero is the three-headed dragon that's been trapped in the ice for millions or thousands, an intermittent amount of time. It is trapped under the ice. Yeah. And Godzilla shows up when because they think they're like a submarine, and Godzilla shows up to Aura Farm. He literally circles the ship and activates his dorsal fins like in a pulsing manner just to farm aura for these humans. That's all. There's no, like, they say he's doing his territory. They try to, he's just aura farming. Does a flyby, and they go track him to Antarctica, where Charles Dance's character and the eco-terrorists take over, and they are going to set the Monster Zero free. But thankfully, the Monarch comes to back them up and to help stop terrorists. And with the powers of being a divorced dad, somehow Kyle Chandler, with a pistol, is able to get through everything and get to the platform with his daughter and his wife, and it's like, please come this way, I can save you. And tries to get custody back of his daughter, but evil wife unfortunately takes back the daughter and is like, no, we're gonna do this. He's like, no, why don't you come back? And I don't know why. Like, I kind of know, but it is crazy when what the next move that Emma does, the doctor does, um, with why she didn't just let Maddie go with her dad because somewhere down the line at this point the doctor decides to go sicko mode and
Yeah.
decides, you know what, actually the problem isn't the Titans, it's people. You know, I've determined that every time a monster attack happens, it's actually good for the ecology, and there's overpopulation and disease and this and that.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna team up with the eco terrorists, release the monsters, and kill everyone. Bye.
Yeah, she saw Godzilla take her
So
son.
she does that. She does that.
Yeah, she saw Godzilla take her son and then immediately.
Yeah, I don't understand how she connected. You know,
Why did humanity do
Yeah.
this?
The death of my son. You know what?
yeah, basically, yeah. Why did humanity do this? So they release Ghidorah, and he's pretty cool. Okay, Ghidorah, I say my glorious king emerges, and he's going nutty. He's going nutty mode in Antarctica, blowing up people with electricity, running around. But when all seems lost, Godzilla shows up, and they get to scrap him.
Mhm.
And like any good matchup and wrestling card, there is no definitive winner. They both go their separate ways for their next match. But you know, it's you can tell these are two alphas, as they say, and they both are going to fight for dominance across the world. So from here, the Monarch crew is like, "Well, what do we do?" And the Doctor is like, "Hey, we're going to do my plan, right?" Which is actually we'll get to your plan, but the next step is, okay, we're going to awaken another monster, okay, and I find it very interesting. What you think about this one, right? Got to open your third eye for this one. But the Doctor, right? She says, you know, the problem is overpopulation, and the problem is, you know, all these different like cities and the people and pollution. What's the first place that she goes to, right? In her plan to reduce human population, Mexico.
Right.
Get them
I
darn.
was thinking, it was like,
I'm just saying.
Well, let's just say we know who she voted for.
So they unleash Rodan, Mexico, and Rodan also sick. Okay, he's a big firebird. We love him. Well, he's more of a pterodactyl bird thing.
Yeah.
That creates like flaming tornadoes with his wings. And he attacks, destroys, kills a whole lot of people. And the military, who are pretty useless in this movie, save two people. They save two, and they're like, "Yeah, you know, we
did it.
we did something. We did it, boys.
We did it, boys."
And they barely did that. They barely did that.
What are you talking about? I saw that they grabbed one plane filled with some civilians.
Some civilians. And they go to escape. Radon is just completely demolishing the Air Force. And then Ghidorah shows up. Okay, and Ghidorah is looking to scrap. Alright, and Radon makes an attempt, but, you know, he ain't an alpha. And, you know, he gets beaten pretty handedly by Ghidorah. And, you know, thankfully, our boy, Godzilla, also shows up, ready to scrap. He's like, all right, you know, you got me last time, or you didn't get me last time, but, you know, we're going to go, me and you, mano y mano. And Godzilla gets a Ghidorah under the water and is actually putting, you know, BTA on him, rips off one of his heads, and is like, yeah, it's going down pretty well. And the military, inexplicably, it's like, well, you know what, guys? We were working on this secret weapon this entire time, called the Oxygen Destroyer. And it's going to kill, anything that breathes oxygen. And it's a surefire plan that will definitely defeat Ghidorah. And we're just launching. We're not even ask you. We're just launching it. We just built it. And I guess it's a reference. It's a reference to, of course, the original Godzilla movie, where Godzilla is killed by the Oxygen Destroyer. And the Oxygen Destroyer in that movie was a allegory for the atomic bomb, and the idea that you have to create an even worse weapon to destroy an evil. So Godzilla, as it turns out, gets hit pretty bad by the Oxygen Destroyer. It almost kills him. Ghidorah, completely unaffected. Because, surprise, surprise, Ghidorah, not from here. He's an alien.
Yeah.
And he just grows back his head and flies to the top of the mountain and just aura farms in front of the cross.
Yeah.
He aura farms in front of the cross and calls all the different monsters all around the world, wakes up all the monsters. It's like, yo, it's our time. I'm the new big boss. We go. And this shocks the Doctor. Because the Doctor's like, what? All the monsters are coming out at once? This wasn't my plan at all.
Oh my god.
I was going to do it. I was going to do it one by one, which is even more psycho, in my opinion.
This
Okay?
wasn't supposed to be that way.
Because her plan was to do a means tested mass slaughter of the populace.
Yeah,
where she would just one day Emma would just show up to your city, unleash a monster, and demolish it. She just do a rumbling, okay? She just do a rumbling in your area because she's bored. And
Russia's,
and then move on. And you see some of the sites. Like there's one like Wyoming. There's one in Munich. Germany. There's one in Japan. And yeah, they just show up. Unlock a monster. I guess everyone would die, and then she'd move on. But because all the monsters are out, suddenly it's a bad thing. I don't understand this part. I would say this is a stupid part of the thing. And also, her daughter's like, this is really bad. She's like, maybe it is bad. Who can say? Meanwhile, Monarch Squad is still trying to, get back on their feet. And thankfully, Mothra has been born. There is a small reference there with there's twin Chinese scientists played by the same person in reference to the original Mothra movie, where Mothra comes from a island of tiny people. Yeah, Mothra comes from an island of tiny people, and Mothra is like summoned by like these tiny twin girls. And there's a little bit of like they throw in a little bit of lore that her entire family is her entire lineage are these Chinese twin sisters.
Now I picked that up.
The Chinese twin sisters that are all connected to Mothra.
But
that gets dropped, right? At this point.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just a reference.
Okay.
So Mothra wakes up, and Mothra, the queen of the monsters, is going for her man. She loves her man, Godzilla. And she wants to get him back going. But they're like, what do we do? Godzilla's gonna die. He's going back to the Hollow Earth, and it's gonna take him a long time to heal. And if you look outside, Ghidorah is messing up some stuff. So Serizawa is like, all right, I know what I must do. And he bravely also they have nukes. Monarch has nukes. It's like nuclear warheads.
Of course they do.
I don't know how they got they have how the science group has a hold of nukes, but they have them.
And it goes right over the government's head.
Yeah,
and Serizawa bravely goes in with a nuke, and it's like, Godzilla, my greatest friend, my oldest,
my buddy,
my oldest and greatest friend. I love you, Godzilla. and sets off the nuke
He don't
to.
know you, bro.
I know
He
you
really
like that,
doesn't.
bro.
He really doesn't. But he sets off the nuke, and that amps up Godzilla, powers him back up with all the radiation. So Ghidorah is just tearing up house. He destroys Washington D.C. Everywhere he goes, there's a Category 6 hurricane following him. He's him. He's him. And the terrorists go to their secret underground Boston bunker.
Shout out.
It's always.
I don't know. I don't know how the terrorists got like a secret Boston bunker, but they do. And apparently they have no security because Millie Bobby Brown just runs off with the Make Monsters Go device.
Hey man, I guess terrorist organizations can only put money into one thing and one thing only.
Yeah, you only do so much.
Yeah.
And she is like, all right, I'm going to summon the monsters. I forget why she summons the monsters to Boston, to be honest. But she does.
She wants a third act.
She wants a third act. Okay. She wants a third act. She presses a third act button, and Ghidorah shows up to Boston. And he's Millie Bobby Brown should have died like a million times. During the sequence, but she does not, and she gets away. And then the crew shows up. Godzilla's back on his feet. He comes out the water, shoots off a laser beam to our farm some more, and they're like, all right, it's go time, right? And they're like, well, are we gonna let Godzilla fight Ghidorah? They're like, no, this time we fight with him. And you have a really great shot of Godzilla and all the planes and warships going with him as they're squatting up to go to Boston. So they do so, and they have their big showdown. And once again, I gotta say, Ghidorah is putting the hands on Godzilla. Not the hands; he doesn't have hands.
The heads,
but he's putting the heads on Godzilla, and he's really. I know at some point Mothra helps out, but she also gets she has to fight Rodan, who she's able to defeat. And Godzilla fans, it's time for some uncomfortable conversations, because I saw this movie and Ghidorah chokes out Godzilla. Okay? Ghidorah chokes Godzilla out, flies him to the stratosphere, and then drops him. Okay? I'm sorry. That's an L. That's an L.
Oh, it's an L to man.
Yeah. Ghidorah really got ahead of him. Really got ahead.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'll allow
he really got ahead.
So, thankfully during this time, Godzilla is looking kind of bad, but he's also, because of the radiation, is also going to go thermonuclear. So he does have a second wind in him. He needs time. Okay. And at that point, the scientists at this point, because they rescue Millie Bobby Brown, humans are running around trying to escape, and to redeem herself, and I guess not to be executed for her crimes, the doctor says, Godzilla, you need 1 minute? Well, what kind of scientist would I be if I couldn't give you 1 lousy minute? And she buys time. She buys time running around with the orca briefcase before getting killed. So Godzilla can get back up. And then at this point, Mothra gets killed. Mothra gets blown up, but her essence falls upon Godzilla. powering him up. And in one of the hypest moments in the franchise, Godzilla goes Super Saiyan 2. All right. And he is in his thermonuclear form. He's in his burning form. And he just starts mopping the floor with Ghidorah.
He's
Okay.
speed blitzing
Mopping
him.
the floor. And every time he does like a blast, like a radiation blast, right? If you look closely, it has a Mothra's essence in the blast. Right? He's projecting Mothra's essence in the blast. And atomizes this man. Okay, completely atomizes King Ghidorah, blows up the last head, and cements himself as king of the monsters. And then all the monsters from around the world show up, and they all kneel in one of the hardest scenes in the movie, as Godzilla our farms one last time. And that's it's King of the Monsters. Oh, there's also the credits where you get a bunch of news clippings where they're like, actually, the Doctor was objectively right because unleashing the monsters fixed everything, and the Sahara's green again, and the ice caps have reversed melting, and everything's awesome. Thanks, Titans, you did it.
We saved the world. We saved the city.
You saved the world. And then, there's a bunch of, it's also like, wait a second. But there's another guy. There's another alpha on the scene. Maybe he has an opinion on Godzilla. But what this Kong guy? And you leave with a shot of a mural of the faded enemies. A big monkey and big lizard.
Yes. And of course, you got.
There's also a post credits where Charles Dance's character has King Ghidorah's head, but that is really
that part.
That technically goes somewhere, but not really. Charles Dance never shows up again.
Yeah. Next time,
he
baby.
died in his cause.
But yeah, that is Godzilla King of the Monsters in summary. A fine feature film, in my opinion. But, in order to be fair and balanced, we will do a proper review of Godzilla King of the Monsters the only way we know how. And that is to do our 5-point review system, where we're going to analyze this on 5 metrics, and you can get a 1 through 5 in each metric to see if this film is really peak or not. And the metrics, of course, are visuals, characters, rating and dialogue, X Factor, and hype moments and aura. So let's talk about the first category here, visuals.
I can start with that one. Visually, it's very appealing. You see the monsters, and there's a good sense of scale in this movie that really that really makes the visual effects pop. The scenes whenever we see the kaijus, they all have a sense of scale, and they all seem very appealing, especially like when it came to King Ghidorah, when he roars for the first time after the oxygen bomb. Really shows that sense of scale. And Rodan, when he is mowing down the city of Mexico, and yeah, that shows like a really great sense of like power that he has. And also scenes with the Godzilla when he's like, when they're observing him in underwater, and when they're observing him when they try to reactivate him, there's a sense of scale that favors the same in the first Godzilla movie that I feel like it doesn't happen again in other movies. But I think a good rewatch will have to be noted to make that changes. But I feel like there's a really good sense of scale in these movies.
Yes. And I also, let's start from scale, I would say. There's that one shot where he's flying, where all the military planes and stuff are flying with him. And that's a really great, it's almost like using when they have they use birds for scale. right?
Yeah.
In like an anime, but this time the birds are the fighter jets,
Right.
and I think it really works.
Yeah, it definitely works. It's just like it's so massive, so appealing, and just like gives you just like you're having like a fun time watching it. Um, albeit I will give it a 4 because it's not like the best.
Whoa, okay, all right, okay, all right.
I'm not mad at that.
All right, okay. I got a rebuttal. I was gonna save my opinion for last, but somebody has
Someone
to
has
stand.
to someone has to
Stand up
stand
for
up.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I would say out of every category, okay, there's two categories. I would say Godzilla King of Monsters is an easy 5, right? And one of them is visuals. This is a beautiful movie. Okay,
Yeah.
it is.
Beautiful might be stretching, but hey.
All right. I would say I would say a lot of it's completely is gorgeous, and
It's pretty.
Kaiju have never looked better. I don't think Kaiju have looked better since. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Maybe it's because I was watching this in
I think
720p on a
that-
terrible.
I'm
service.
gonna say I'm gonna be almost controversial, but band for band, okay, this film, the kaiju portion, right, looks better than Godzilla Minus One.
Oh yeah, because
Band for band, stack for stack. Okay, it looks better than, I would say, visually. I would say what they're doing with like cinematography and visuals, there isn't a shot in Minus One that is as good as the Ghidorah like popping off on the mountain in front of the cross.
Okay.
Like there's so many great shots. The way they use lighting in this movie.
Yeah.
Everything with Mothra, when Mothra awakens under the waterfall, and that glow and that like majesticness of like this creature, like each kaiju feels unique, right? Has their own kind of like visual style. They animate them so well, and they feel like their own unique animals, right?
Yeah.
They all fight differently. They all move differently. They all have their own like proper visual flares, right? When Rodan flies and he has the flames, right? But Mothra moves almost like an angel in like comparison. The way King Ghidorah moves around and uses his heads for battle. And you take a design that is, let's face it, inherently goofy. Right?
Which one?
It's a big dragon. It's not just a big dragon, it's a wide. Ghidorah's a wide dragon. It's a big wide dragon with 3 heads and wings, right? But it looks cool. And it's shot in such a way that it looks awesome. And I would say the animation, the fidelity, the way it uses lighting, the way it plays around with color, it looks so much better than pretty much anything else. It definitely, I would say, it looks better than the other Monsterverse movies that came in after. Like, and I like those, right? But I'm sorry, nothing in Kong, either of the Kong movies, right, looks as good as this movie. It's more fun, for sure.
I don't know about that.
But I would say, okay, what you're saying? Scar King looks better?
Scar King looks, yeah, he does.
I don't think so.
What are you talking? Scar King's up. Look,
Ghidorah's
cool.
Scar King does not look as good as Ghidorah.
No, Ghidorah does look cool, but I'll put Scar King over Rodan. I'll put Scar King over.
Yeah, but okay, that's not fair.
Mothra too. What do you mean? What do you mean it's not
Mothra.
fair?
And okay, I can go band for band. Mothra in this movie looks better than Mothra in that movie. Mothra in this movie has way more grace and way more, like, I guess the Mothra in the movie's bigger, but this Mothra feels like a real, like, really cool.
I don't remember how.
Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, because I'm the editor. I can do this. Okay, I'm going to put up shots, okay, of this movie, and I'm going to put up a shot of this movie, and I'm going to say compare and contrast, and we'll see. We'll see who is wrong or right. But I got a feeling. Okay,
that feeling.
There's a reason And I was gonna say, when I was in my more critical stage before I watched the movie again, I was gonna say, well, when everyone talks about this movie and says it's good, they pull out 4 screenshots on Twitter, right? And you know what? They're right. Actually, I was wrong. They were right. Those do go hard. Okay, they go hard. I think this is visually a masterpiece in kaiju films.
I'm to add to that now
Masterpiece.
because I would say that the design of each of them is very unique, and also the sound design and how electrifying. Imagine, man, if I had money, because I never saw I don't think I saw this movie in theaters in 2019. So I feel like if I watched this in IMAX and just hearing the sound of King Ghidorah and hearing the sound of Godzilla's roar just rumbling, I think it would give me a much more better experience. But even watching it now, yeah, it is
we
cool.
watched it in theaters, but there's I'm doing a sidebar. We have a fun story about our Godzilla King of the Monsters experience.
All right.
Okay, so it was 2019, and so we all came to see Godzilla King of the Monsters, right? And we all went to the theater and we were very excited to watch the movie. And it was my responsibility to buy the tickets.
Oh boy.
I did. I bought 4 tickets for myself and my friends, right, including O. And so we get to the theater. We're late, right? But we made it to the theater, and we get to our seats, and I think we sit down, and then other people show up and say, "You're sitting in our seats." I go, "No, you're not. That's not true. I paid for these seats." Okay. Then I check my app, and I realize I paid for the seats for the wrong day. I paid for the day before. I think the day before. I don't know how we got let in. Actually, I don't know, but they somehow they still worked. They let us in. They scanned us in, and now we had a conundrum because the theater was pretty full, and there was no seats. Okay, and sometimes when you're in that situation, executive decisions have to be made, and you have to be brave. Okay, and as it turns out, they were open seats. It's good open seats. Just right in the middle of the theater. Okay, that nobody was using. Now, were those seats reserved for the handicapped? Maybe, but sometimes hey man, as far as I was concerned, I bought my tickets. This was a victimless crime, and I looked, and there was no handicapped people in the theater. Right, it was a few minutes into the movie. So I sat down. We sat down. We found a way.
Oh.
I remember every time someone walked in, bro, I was watching that door.
Yeah, no, we were eyeing that door. We were eyeing that
door. I hope not someone with a wheelchair comes in. I was like, oh boy, here they come rolling.
Hey man, it's I'm not saying it's my proudest moment, but nobody was harmed. Nobody was harmed by our actions.
Nobody was harmed. Nobody said something. Everyone was just like, you know what, whatever.
I remember Joe being like, one of our friends being like, "Yo, I had to drink just so I could have enough vigor just in case someone did come by. I'd be drunk enough to be like, nah, I don't care."
Yeah, sometimes you gotta stand 10 toes down on your decision making. But it was worth it. I would say.
Excuse me, can you guys please leave this section? Never mind. I'm not gonna fulfill that joke anymore.
And that's why Beto buys our tickets.
We've learned. We have learned since that, for sure. But yes. So yeah. Okay. So back to the review.
Back to the reviews.
Your what's your score on visuals? Oh.
It has now changed. Oh, sorry. I thought it was my. Never mind.
I'm I'll be straight up. I think it's a 4.5. It's not a 5. And this is mainly because I think the monsters in this film do look well. Now I'm not gonna like overly glaze it like some of us here on some it's better than the Monsterverse, better than good, what nah. But for what it is, it's cool. It's cool. And I do like some of the sets. Like there's a lot of good like shots throughout the film. Uh like one of the best shots I've remember from the film is when they were in Antarctica, and this was like right before Godzilla and Ghidorah was about to face off, and there's this whole blue hue because they're in Antarctica as the snow's falling, and you can see just like their silhouettes kind of facing off against each other before they start squaring off, and like that's a really cool, just a movie poster looking shot. Uh, and it's just shots like that throughout the film that kind of increases these characters' auras and whatnot. I just don't think it's perfect. I just think I don't think the visuals are perfect though. I think like outside of like the battles, outside of the monsters, eh, like it's very there's nothing too there's nothing in here that make me go, wow, that's a beautiful. I don't know if I'll say that's a beautiful shot, but like there wasn't like a whole lot of settings in this that I personally thought stood out like that.
Mhm.
Uh and also sometimes the areas where like mainly the people were in, not that they would be in the fray, but the areas that the people were in, you know, I didn't really think much of them or how they looked. Like it's kind of basic. It's kind of there's a lot of like basic settings, but like one day their settings are popping when they are like putting like attention to the detail of these places and these monsters. And they're even under their like attacks. Between the radioactive blast of Godzilla or the thunder shock of Ghidorah as he's about to like blast through all three of his heads. You can see his like neck glow.
Mhm.
Uh, you could really tell the care that it was put into these models. Uh, yeah, so that's why I would give it a 4.5.
All right. And Beto, did you come to a reassessment?
I have. I'm gonna upgrade it to a 4.5.
I'm glad. I'm able to convince. It's very. This is. It's important. It's important.
Hey, I was
Now,
I was already on a
now,
4.5 train. A
if
3.5.
you thought now, if
Just
you thought this would be just a uncritical glaze fest for myself, you're incorrect. I do have a critical eye. So we'll move on to our next category: characters. And you know what? They're not good. They aren't good.
no, they
Okay.
aren't.
I would say the monsters actually are all rendered pretty well. I think the monsters characters are all kind
Yeah,
of really well defined. They all have really great, clear individual personalities.
yeah,
Um, where Godzilla has this kind of like, I wouldn't call it stoic, but he's definitely territorial. He's mostly like to be left alone, but like when his kingliness is challenged,
yeah.
he really feels like he has a show. He has a show. Show what's
Gotta
what.
pop out and show.
Yeah.
Huh?
And I like the fact that like you got Mothra, who's all about her man, um, and she has like such a regal, celestial quality to her, and Rodan is very Starscream esque, and I will work for whoever is in charge. I like that like quality too. Like I think they did a really great job with the monsters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the human characters are not it.
They are not. They are not hitting, man.
They're
I ain't
human
gonna lie.
characters?
Yeah, the doctor Emma Madison didn't really do much. Honestly, for me, the humans are the weakest part of the film, and that's usually the gripe with a lot of like the mediocre Godzilla films. But here, it's like I feel like it's at like an all time like worse. Like I genuinely don't care for like these characters. Like, there's maybe like a couple that I'm like, okay, you're okay at best, but like I don't feel too crazy about the veterinarian or Madison or and let's not even get into like I think her name's Emma, Dr. Emma's plan to destroy.
Okay, well, now we should get in. We got into it a little bit. What's up? What's up? What's up with this wacky white woman? What's going on? Her plan's unhinged. She's an very unhinged character.
Yeah,
very unhinged. Because it appears that she decides, like, she was not working towards a kill everyone on Earth plan. It appeared she had a perfectly fine job at Monarch and was chilling, and it was just working, hanging out. And then when she gets kidnapped, she's like,
Maybe they're spitting.
I think I'm gonna kill everyone.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
I think I'm just gonna kill everybody. Nah, I looked at the charts and yeah, and I think there's a line she says where she says, "Monarch has shelters designed to protect people and to restart humanity. You should find one." That's insane. It's an insane statement for an insane woman. Like, what are we talking about?
It's like, what's the end? I mean, I know her. I guess I know her angle is to wipe out humanity, but it's a real like, how do you get here? You know, and why?
That's not.
Like, I would at least. It's like wipe out, or at least cut down humanity's size or something, like because of overpopulation and disease.
Because we are we're out of balance with nature, and this will she's very Ted Kaczynski style plan. She's like the Industrial Revolution has brought consequences, numerous consequences for the human race.
Yeah, it's her plan is just it's too bad. And like she's like, humans cause all these things, disease, war. But she's just like, I want to stop humans from destroying each other. So I'm going to hire these monsters to do the destroying for them, that way. that way the earth will be fixed. And
I think
oh yeah, now and now I'm just gonna say, it's just I really just did. And the third time around watching this, seeing the play, and this time I really was like, let me look at it from her point of view. And I still couldn't see it. I'm just
I don't. The dots don't connect. The dots do not connect. And I would say the worst part about it is this movie appears to agree with her.
Yeah.
Because afterwards, they were like, actually, that was based, actually. That was based and cool. And it fixed all of our problems. We sure, millions died, but it was worth it. As it turns out. Everything was cool.
Yeah, everything's A-okay.
Which is funny because none of the other films go with this premise. Not really.
No. If she was like a kind of character that was like, if she was a kind of character that was like, I don't know, like, I've always hated humanity. I've always hated Earth. And I want to just watch the world burn. You know what I mean? If she was just like, I want to watch the world burn type of character, I could at least be like, okay, that's her character. It makes sense why she'd want to just release these monsters out into the world. But she isn't. She's like, they're trying to portray her as like just not malevolent. This, what's the word?
Sympathetic.
Yeah, sympathetic type hero. Sympathetic type villain. And it just doesn't work. It just...
I think the solution is you need to fuse the Charles Dance's character and her characters together. Because the weird part is Charles Dance's character, the terrorist, is the one that kind of starts it off. And also the thing with Charles Dance is, even though he's this like super lethal terrorist, he seems kind of like ambivalent to it all. Like he kind of has like a shrugging his shoulders, going, I mean, do it, I guess. Like, at no point does he like put a gun and says, "You have to do it." He's like,
"Yeah,
you probably want to do it, right?"
Very one note, and he says the line is like, I think it was like, "Humanity has to die" or something. I don't know. It's not really compelling. It's like a
So
villain.
I feel like if you combine those two characters, and I know it'd be kind of wild, but if it was like my wife, my divorced wife became a terrorist, an eco terrorist, at least it would be like in a better spot, right? And if it was like, I could see a reality where maybe you take the same plot and you could say the Mark Russell, right, by Kyle Chandler's character was like, oh, I was working on, we were working on the Orca thing together, right?
Mhm.
And then all the Godzilla stuff happened, and she went kind of off the bend, and the project got canceled. But she decided to keep working on it, and teamed up with other people, and they have their own kind of like eco terrorist outfit now. And she, because of her grief, is like, well, I think we have to go. We have to take it up a notch. That could be an interesting character if you combine those two, right? And then it became like, and also I guess a father trying to rescue his daughter in the most heat contentious custody battle of all time. But as it stands, they want to have their cake and eat it.
Yeah.
They want to have a character that both is willing to hit the rumbling button, but also be like, heroic and turn around and be like, you know what? Hey, we all make mistakes, don't we? and get a heroic sacrifice.
Yeah, that's the fact they try to make her like give her that heroic sacrifice in the end too. To kind of like show some like sympathy points. It's just like I don't care, dog. And honestly, she got off too easy. If I'm being completely honest.
She did. I'll say the scientists. We gotta talk about the monarch scientists. They are kind of all off their rocker in their own ways. I don't know how you work with these people, because they have completely drunk the Kool-Aid on Godzilla. They cannot operate from an uncritical standpoint, because they are completely like actually. I think like they worship God. I think they probably like are like a Godzilla cult, basically.
Ran by
Of how devoted they are.
Ran by the what's his name?
Serizawa.
Yeah, Serizawa.
Ran by Serizawa. Military guys or whatever. They don't do that much. They're just they're military.
Simplify.
Hoorah. Extremely ineffective. Like extremely. At most they provide distractions so Godzilla can get back up. They just die to give Godzilla like 5 seconds of time. So I guess that's something.
Yay them.
But yeah, I would say the characters are definitely a bit weak. There's also that one guy on the ship, who there's not a lot of like quips and jokes, but I think there's that one scientist who makes making jokes on the ship, and I would say like 75% of his jokes bomb.
Yeah.
Was it the guy who's just like, I forgot. I'm looking up his name. Rick Stanton.
The older white-haired guy.
Yeah, that was the character's Rick Stanton.
Yeah, Rick Stanton. He's trying.
He's trying.
He's trying. I guess maybe that would be your role, if you were in the Monarch group.
Oh, what? Oh, no.
No. Would you be like,
Well, that just happened.
Yeah. You would be the guy making the, you'd be the guy being like, oh yeah, Ghidorah really got ahead, didn't he? And you looking around, as you looking around the ship.
A million people's died. Oh. We're literally flying over their grave.
Man, I'd hate for me. I hate for Godzilla to be doing.
Terrible. Well, it's terrible. So I would say, I gotta give him grace because the Godzilla characters. The monsters are good, but I can't give this. I give for the characters. I'm giving the score a 2.5.
Yeah, that's actually exactly where I'm at too. 2.5 for me.
Ooh,
and it's only 2.5. It's not even, and it's only because originally it was gonna be a 2, but then I remembered that the monsters counted, and I gave it a 0.5 off.
To go hive mind and change my score to lower it down to a 2.
Nah. Say it with your chest. What do you? What do you?
Oh,
Believe?
it was basically a 3 because I don't think any of the characters were that great. Well, some of them. The only two characters I would say is like the best out of them is why is characters not coming into my mind? Well, Ishiro Serizawa and Vivian Graham. I think they were like the serious kind of characters.
You mean Vivian Graham? You mean the person who's in the film for 5 minutes?
Yes.
Who gets eaten by Ghidorah?
Even though she was in the first one, and then the sequel, she's just
are you saying that because you are a film pervert that likes Shape of Water? Is that why? Is that why you're highlighting this character who has no other role?
No, cinephile Beto here. I have never seen Shape of Water.
You've never seen Shape? Wow.
Okay. I've always do a watch-thon of all the best pictures, and during that time, I did not have the money, resources to go watch that movie.
Well, now you do.
Now I do.
Anytime. If you want to see the Fish Man, it's out there for you.
Fish Man, Kanye West. Anyways, yeah, those characters. I don't know. Those characters are okay. Most of them, they're just serious one note, carry the plot over, but not to three-dimensional, and they carry any weight to keep the story going. But yeah, I'd change it to a 2.
All right. Moving on to our next category. Also may not be so high. Writing and dialogue.
There was some dialogue.
The writing. This script is
yeah.
It's an interesting one.
We kind of got into it when we were talking about the characters and the plans and all of that. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you off rip, I gave it a 2. The writing.
I do have to. I feel like I'm compelled to bring up one little fun little writing thing.
Yep.
Is Monarch, they have their files and whatnot on different monsters and information available. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that the military, and maybe this information wasn't passed, but like nobody read, I guess, the Monarch file that was called a Ghidorah PDF where it explains that Ghidorah is an alien. It appears that nobody knew about this, even though they clearly had the files, because I think Dr. Ling is the one who brings them up. She has them, where she's like, oh yeah, by the way, Monster Zero, it's they call him Ghidorah, and the legends say he's an alien. And I guess nobody, like Serizawa, who runs the operation, who should know, because he's the boss, he should know this, did not know this information. It was new information to him. It was new information to him and everyone else on that ship, and it should not have been. I don't know why. I don't know why no one shared King Ghidorah.pdf that all the relevant Ghidorah information until right after.
Only knew him as Monster Zero. The only people
it would have been helpful. Is what I'm saying. It would have been. It would have been a good assistance to be like, yeah, here's this hyper accurate mural of Ghidorah, and all the information that we have about him.
Do it as what you will with this information.
That I will save until it's I can share it with you for dramatic effect.
Right. But sorry. There wasn't really any dialogue in this film that really stuck out to me. And a lot of the interactions between the characters themselves, I wasn't that interested in. It was very much like when the humans were on, that was some real counting down the minutes. So yeah, I gave it a 2. I would say maybe like the best human stuff was with Serizawa and Godzilla, as he's like, yo, I give my life to you, my friend. or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
proceeds to die, and Godzilla, Godzilla's like, "Who's this?"
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, nah, the writing, plot, dialogue of this movie is just so weak. I gave it 2.
2 for 2.
2 for 2. Yeah.
2 for 2.
I'll give it 2.5. It didn't offend me. I think in previous watches it did offend me, and I did not like it. But this time I just vibed with it. I think it's hard to describe, but I just vibed with the movie entirely this last time, and I was like, yeah, okay, and it felt like watching a movie, like I said, like a shonen movie. It felt like I was watching One Piece Stampede is how I would describe the feeling of watching this, right? Of like, is the writing the best? Maybe not. But all the characters are here, and it looks cool, and they're doing cool stuff. And for me, that was good enough.
I mean, if there was at least like a bit more entertaining outside of like the fights, or not even like entertaining, but like if it was at least like amusing or more intriguing, sure. But like it was just some real word vomit before we actually got to like what we really came here to see.
Yeah, it was merely just exposition dumping for most of the movie. Nothing about compelling about who these characters are, and all they are is just being like, I gotta tell you the details of why this is bad, why this is happening.
I gotta
why
tell you
this
how
is...
cool Godzilla is.
Yeah,
Did you know Godzilla is really cool?
well, that
Were you
was
aware?
that was stuck to one character, and he died. And the main glazier Ishiro Serizawa, even though he was a glazier in the first movie, he's saying the most epic line of "Let them fight," and in this one is like, "No, we will be his way." Or I forgot what it was.
We'll fight with him.
We'll fight with him.
together.
Yeah.
Fight together.
Even though he was the only one with like the cool lines, everyone else was just generic, basic, nothing to express who they are, what kind of characters they are. Everyone is just like saying things just to move things forward rather than build any substance to who they are individually.
I didn't mind Divorced Dad. I thought Divorced Dad was fine.
I'm divorced dad. That's all. I'm divorced dad, and I take pictures, and I record wolves.
He was a cool guy. Yeah, I'll give it a 2.5, but nothing like special. But moving on to the next category, X Factor. And I would say, in terms of uniqueness, I'd probably rate this decently high. Yes, it is a Godzilla movie, but guys, I think I made the argument for it. I think it's executing a Godzilla movie, or I should say, a very specific kind of Godzilla movie. It's executing like a monster battle Godzilla movie at a very high level, right? When it comes to the monster battling, and what it does to the cinematography, we said before, what it does to the music is outstanding. I cannot sing the praises enough for Beer McCreary soundtrack. Listen to it. Just give it a listen. It is amazing. The renditions of the classic Godzilla themes, Godzilla's Burning March, the Mothra theme, making it like an even more kind of like a majestic orchestral rendition of it. The Ghidorah theme, I think even Rodan has the theme, all that stuff. Fantastic. It looks great. And I would say it's unique because they didn't make him like that afterwards. They just did. They kind of. I would say the Kong Godzilla versus Kong is not this movie. It really isn't. They took out a lot of like the gravitas to make it more popcorn flick, which is fine. I like Godzilla vs. Kong. I do. But they took out the epicness, right? This, I think they really, maybe to its detriment, but they turned up like the epic meter on this, like a lot, to 11. And really try to stress like how cool and how amazing and how glorious like all this is. And I think after this, it became a lot goofier, which is not bad, but it just did.
Yeah,
I'd say one of the ways you can tell is how the kaiju move. I think that's another X Factor thing is the kaiju move in a very specific kind of like animal way in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and afterwards they move like people. Now, granted, some of them are monkeys, but Godzilla starts moving like a guy, okay, and he starts throwing more haymakers and doing throws. We get like in a great scene when in the new Secret Empire when he does a suplex on Kong, and King of the Monsters Godzilla is not doing suplexes. Okay, he's not doing suplexes. And
or
it just became it became a different thing.
he didn't have his. I see that more as like he just getting more skills in his bag. You know
More
what I
skills
mean?
is drag.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ghidorah is a very, and I think the reason why this one feels more quote unquote epic, or would feel more quote unquote epic, is because Ghidorah himself is like an end game ish type of boss,
Yeah.
compared to like, in the future films where we have King Kong, and Mechagodzilla and Scar King, who are more so like they're not goofy bosses per se, but their tone is a lot less down on like a much power.
Yeah, and Kong's a rival, but he's not like
Yeah, they're more rivals than actual
faded
bosses.
enemy. Yeah, I also after this, I do find it funny that they keep finding cave murals of Godzilla fighting these monsters. It just keeps happening. They keep like every time they find another mural that's like Godzilla's faded enemy, right? One this time was Kong, last time was Ghidorah, another time it had like Scar King and Shimo. They just keep doing it, and I think that's great.
Yeah,
They'll do it again too. And I guess the next one, if it has like Space Godzilla or Australia, they'll also have a cave mural depicting this event happening.
Those cave artists had some serious observation hockey. Like,
Yeah,
they did, man.
It's like, how does these guys figure it out?
But yeah, I mean, the way I see the Monsterverse films, or this Monsterverse film in comparison to others, is I think I mentioned before that the mediocre Godzilla films, or the ones I don't really remember that much, have their issue is the human plot as well. But like here, it is the balance between the plot and what we came to see is too off. It's too off. It's too there's a point where it gets too dumb where where I feel like it brings down the other aspect a bit as well. To the point where like the only thing I'm really watching this movie for is to see these monsters, go head to head, because that's the most interesting part of it. The X factor for me is pretty much like how good it is in its own verse, or compared to like other Godzilla films. And I'm gonna keep it a stack. I let me bring out my Skip Bayless voice. I don't even think King of the Monsters is in the top 3 films of all time.
I mean, you're right. I also agree. It's not top 3 Godzilla material. It's top 5. I don't think it's top 3.
Yeah. You know what? I might allow that. Low 5. But yeah, it's for me. This one doesn't really stick out outside of like Ghidorah. Ghidorah does bring. I think you mentioned it before. You did mention it before. Ghidorah does bring like a certain energy to this film just because of him being.
Nothing for the homie Rodan.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really care that much about Rodan. I like how Rodan emote. Like the good thing about this movie, what was the fact that like the monsters do have like personalities, and like Rodan's cool or Rodan's okay.
He's cool.
You wound me.
But like like I like the part where like he's up against Mothra and then Mothra stabs him and he has like such like that human like expression of just
yeah
nutty.
That was really good.
Yeah. Crazy how the monsters
when
here have more personality than the actual people.
When he at the end when he does a little bow to Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he puts his wing up.
Yeah. No, Ron's okay. But yeah, it's all right. It's like a very in the middle. I don't think it does anything. Well, no, it does do some things worse, but nothing too better, nothing too bad. So I'm gonna give it like a 3.5.
X Factor, I would say. I think this is one of some best executions of American sensibilities for Godzilla movie. For in terms of Western Godzilla movies, yeah, I think it's operating on a high level. I'm going to be controversial. Well, no, I'm not going to be controversial because it's my truth, and you know what? If you don't like it, I'm giving it a 5.
5 is crazy. 5 is insane.
Yeah, well, if you think that's crazy, can't wait for the next category.
That's crazy. Now, I mean, I could understand the next category, a 5 in the next category, but 5 for X Factor, 5 for bro. It's not seeing Skull Island. It's not seeing.
It's not seeing Skull Island.
Okay, all right.
Well, okay, all right.
It's not seeing.
We have a Kong. We have a Kong lover in chat.
It's not seeing King Kong versus Godzilla. It's not seeing New Empire.
It is seeing King Kong versus Godzilla, bro.
It's not even seeing
King Kong versus Godzilla is not even that good, bro. It's not even that good. It's not even
way better than this. It's way better.
It's not way better than this. You're delusional.
Way better than
you are delusional.
And you, sir, are blinded by recency bias, bro.
I'm not blinded by recency. I'm the opposite. My eyes were opened. Okay, I was a hater until I was not. Do you know how much it takes me to like change my opinion like this?
Apparently,
I usually don't.
Apparently,
pretty easily.
Apparently, you got a couple yellow flashes, and suddenly top 3 moves.
No. I'm telling you right now. This clears Kong. I'm sorry. I would say maybe it's going to need some competition from Godzilla Cross Kong, maybe, but it's not. Because let's face it, Kong, it looks worse. The movie looks worse.
No, I know
it's goofier. It looks worse. I'm sorry.
Skull Island does not look worse. It's way this movie is more flashier, right? But Kong actually the setting, how Kong moves, the fire, bro. Like, stop it.
Okay, all right. I will agree to disagree. You know. The people shall decide. The people shall decide. All right, Beto, what is your score for X Factor?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. We'll just go with the 4. It is unique in its own setting, and it's what was it trying to say? What was trying to convey? This kind of environmental kind of message that it wanted to say, and plus with the visuals and the just the story that wanted to be told. I don't think, to my knowledge, there probably was a Godzilla movie like that, probably years ago. But if there was a movie that deals with environmentalism in a Godzilla movie, I think of it.
Godzilla versus Biollante.
Okay, never mind then. I'm going to give this now a 2.5 now. That is my final score, 10 toes standing.
10 toes.
This was mid, and it was boring. Its flashy colors made my eyes gorge out. Jeez, I was just
if I was to stand alone, I will stand alone.
I was having an epileptic.
I'm planting my feet. God America said, I'm even the whole world is saying you move.
Don't bring God America. Don't bring Steven.
I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna plant my feet like a tree. I'm just saying, no, you move. This film slaps. Is it perfect? No. Is it a great time? Yes.
Godzilla King of Monsters, more like God Meta King of Mid.
Yeah, okay. All right, buddy.
That'll be the end of this episode. Thank you guys for watching.
No, we have one more category. We have one more category you cannot escape from, okay? And this category is the easiest 5 you've seen. That's hype moments in aura. And I'm sorry, easy 5, brother. Okay, or if we're talking hype moments in aura, this is the This is the hype moments in Aura Godzilla movie. Okay, there's so many hype moments, so much aura. Every monster is aura farming. It's crazy. All the characters are adding to the aura by glazing them and acting like the side characters in JJK. Godzilla's moving like Gojo, and they're hyping up Ghidorah like he's Sukuna. It's incredible. Throughout space and the Hollow Earth, Godzilla alone is the honored one. Is how they're moving.
Oh, you got it all. You got it all out.
Yeah. That's why you know my opinion. You know what I have to say. You know what's on my mind,
cool.
right? If you want to come here and bring your you can. You can.
So the reason why I gave it a 1 was because
yeah, all right, yeah,
yeah, all right.
Yeah, all right. Give me your real opinion.
I actually say this. I did give it a 5 here. And I was very much debating if it was like going to be a 4.5, but like I say, off of pure hype and aura farming, this movie does have a lot of that. This movie does have a lot of cool shots, like the shot I was talking about with Antarctica, and there's also this really cool shot of them also about to square off in the city as well during the end part of the movie. The fact that Godzilla gets his power up and does his super radioactive blast.
Yeah, he activates his domain expansion.
Yeah. Mothra again, a new form was sick. Ghidorah, every time Ghidorah did something, it was like amazing. And in fact,
when they like collide in the city and there's like that impact and you get a little kind of like shockwave.
Yeah. All that stuff is great. And you could Beto mentioned it before, but you could really feel the scale of everything, and that goes especially when they're like boxing in the city, because things are just quaking. It's literally just the world is shaking because these things are just so powerful, just colliding with each other. Yeah, I gave it to be fair, I gave it a 5. I can't undermine it. This is but the Monsterverse movies are very good at like strumming up hype, and this is no exception to that.
Beto?
Yeah, I think I have to go with the 5 because if you ask me, what do you got? What is Godzilla King of the Monsters got? I'm just gonna say it only has hype moments in aura.
Yeah, true.
Every second there's hype moments in aura.
Yeah.
And the most infamous trailer that really showed you that this movie had the most hype moments in aura was the Claire the Loon teaser trailer. And I saw the trailer way before we started the podcast. I watched it and I was like, yeah, this still hits. This still hits as a trailer. And yeah, there's so much unique shots of just practically it feels like the director just loves these kaijus. He loves them, that he knows what kind of what he wants to just put them in a big spotlight, depending if it's an action scene or just them alone. He really like puts a huge spotlight on them and make them feel like the most epic thing that's ever being put to film. And with just the CGI that we have today, he really just puts all his effort into just creating those hype moments of King Ghidorah howling right near the cross, of Rodon just mowing down the city, and like the final battle with Godzilla just roaring, and then all the planes just moving behind him. It is just like a special hype moment every single time.
Yeah, all right. So if we tally up the scores while we do that, I'll say I think the Monsterverse film that gets the human characters right the most is probably Secret Empire, the Godzilla Kong Super Empire. I like the human characters a lot in Secret Empire. I think they're like a good balance and they're fun.
It's a balance of funny and also serious.
And they're genuinely helpful, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely.
Giving Godzilla his like mecha arm. I mean, not Godzilla, King Kong his mecha arm. And it's helped, I think, also by the fact that Kong is just a big guy. he's practically a human character. He just doesn't talk, but
Yeah.
he has all the
I got
functionality
one.
of one.
He expresses himself a lot
Yeah,
as human. All right, I think I got a 3.6.
I got a 4.
And
Of
I
course.
got a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm not like, here's the deal. When we combine the scores, and the final official Peak of Fiction score for Godzilla King of the Monsters is a 3.7. And I have to say, I'm not mad. I'm not. I knew this was never going to be peak. I just wanted to have the conversation. I wanted to say my piece, and I wanted to say why I like this movie. Is it peak? If you want it to be, okay? Listener,
if you look at
okay?
if you look
If
within
it's peak
yourself.
in your heart, you know what? It's peak. But I'll say, does it have bad rating? Yes. Does it have bad characters? Also true. But for me, it didn't. I was able to buy into it enough and vibe with the movie enough that I found it all entertaining. Right? I was able to say, I felt like I was almost like what's the word? Like participating in the same joke with the movie, and I was just able to yep, hey man, this is a little silly, but we're having fun. And if you can get into that vibe, and if you can get into that mindset of seeing it like a shonen, I think you'll have a good time.
Most
All right.
definitely.
You
Watch and have fun before film Twitter tells you it's overrated.
True, very, 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 very true. What are we gonna review next week? We do not know yet, but when we do, we will tell you. In the meantime, if you made it this far, please, like, subscribe, follow. Climbers are growing. We are moving up. We're moving up pretty decently. The episodes are having pretty good reception. We're getting good numbers on TikTok, and we are very grateful for all the fans that make this possible. And so we,
of course,
thank you very much.
Definitely love delayed gratification.
Thank you.
Stick with us.
Thank you, guys.
Right, we will be planning something a little special in the future, but these things take time, so just stick with us.
See you at the next Comic-Con, San Diego. We'll be right there.
We will not be in San Diego. We're not going to San Diego.
Hall
H.
Peak of Fiction going to San Diego, baby.
San Diego, baby. Yeah.
We're gonna plan the Peak of Fiction cinematic universe.
Yeah, but if we're going to Hall H, it's gonna have to be because we took it over, like Bane style. Like we have commandeered Hall H from the people who should be in Hall H. We be hostages on the stage.
I'm bringing out Martin Scorsese. I'm telling him we're all giving him the money.
It's been real.
It's been real,
See ya.
guys. See ya.